I used to steal from my schoolmates. I would go around and take things from their bags or pencil cases. When I walked around class or school, if I saw something I liked, I would wait until the item was unattended and steal it, of course not if it was in plain sight. When I was in elementary school, someone from the first session of school left their Geronimo Stilton Phoenix book and it was huge. It was also the only thing I wanted to get my hands on then. My young, 7-year-old ass managed to steal the whole big freaking thing. I still have it in my attic, and I managed to make everyone forget about it. To this day, my parents, friends, or family know that I stole it. It's good to get it off my chest. But that's only one of the many things I stole. If I were to list them out, it would take way too long. Besides, the book theft was the biggest thing I stole. I stole a classmate's Mother's Day gift when I was a kid. When I was 9, my school had Mother's Day stall where vendors would come in and sell gifts we could give our moms. All my classmates were bragging about how much money they had to buy their mother's gifts and I was poor and had nothing. I really wanted to buy my mom something for Mother's Day but I was poor and couldn't afford anything they were selling. At lunchtime, when all the bags were unattended, I went through some bags in an empty hallway and found a box of candles shaped like roses. I thought it would be the perfect gift for my mom, and not understanding the weight of my actions, I took it. I still remember seeing the girl crying to her teacher about it. And these memories haunt me all the time. The thought of me having done something that horrible eats me up inside. We also lived in the same area so I would see her a lot even after we graduated. And every time I saw her, I would think about that thing I did and think about myself in revulsion. For the longest time, those candles sat unused in some area of the house. After I gave my mom the present, I found out she doesn't even use candles. She's against lighting them for some reason. Before I threw it away, like 10 years later, every time I looked at that box of untouched candles, I always thought about how much better of use they would have had to the rightful owners of those candles. I'm actually so sorry to the girl. People say they have no regrets because it made them who they are. But I think I would have turned out fine without ever doing this shitty thing, especially since I most definitely caused that girl so much pain at that time. Disabled my own cousin after losing my temper and pushing him, nobody knows except my old counselor. I've felt terrible about this for years and have only told a counselor when I was having anxiety issues in college. I am now on an SSRI. Obligatory background paragraph. So I have a bunch of cousins. My mom and her siblings had 3 to 4 kids apiece and a couple of them got married into new families. Way too many cousins. Don't even know some of them. Anyway, I had one cousin, a couple years older than me, who was a total sick jerk. Always in trouble, cussing his mom out. None of the other cousins liked this kid, even his younger siblings, from other dads if that says anything. He would get us in trouble. He kicked at a fence at my mom's place for no reason, breaking several boards. The kid would hurt animals all of the time. He killed his own guinea pig by constantly flicking its eye and head, in front of me, sick. He would always tell us grotesque things, like he wanted to kill his mom or his sisters, even screaming these claims at them in temper tantrums. In one particular case, he once held me down and spit down my throat. Never forget. Anyway, I was hanging out with him in the woods near our auntie's house during a family shindig one summer. I was maybe 12 or 13. There was a nearby quarry that was half empty, concreted with smelly algae, growth most of the year. We were walking near a part of the quarry that was maybe 6 ft off the ground with muck at the bottom. The asshole started acting like he was going to push me in and I believed him. He actually pushed me quite hard and I grabbed his arm and pulled myself away from the edge. That freaked me out and I lost my temper and pushed him. He fell in, hitting the bottom with a sort of head whiplash. Even through the muck I still heard a sickening thud of his head hitting something hard. He was unresponsive. I bolted in a panic. Back to the house and went inside while most of the adults were in another part of the house. Nobody noticed he was gone until his mom was leaving. Nobody really cared until his mom started freaking out. They asked everyone, plus myself, and I guess I kept my cool. Didn't take long when they found him. Rushed to hospital. He was alive and even conscious. Looking back, it's surprising he didn't drown in that muck. He cracked his skull. Massive concussion obviously. Had issues remembering anything for a while. Lost some of his motor skills and walking ability. Has never been the same. Didn't finish school. He still lives with his mom under some disability program, almost 15 YRS later. He isn't an asshole anymore. Last time I saw him he was fat as hell, playing video games. I beat his ass in Madden. Dude can't even pass for 15 yards. I stole a coworker's broken iPhone from work and told her someone else threw it out. Paid for its replacement and bought myself an Android with the money I made from selling it. When I was 18 I was working at McDonald's as a manager. One of the girls somehow managed to smash her iPhone screen in the car park and left it in the office for a week. She was the type of girl where mommy and daddy bought her everything, so thinking back I'm not sure why she worked at McDonald's. My store manager was cleaning out the office and asked whose it was. At the time I didn't know, but I knew it had been there for a while, so I encouraged them to throw it out with the rest of the crap they were throwing out since it was broken anyway. When they weren't looking I grabbed it off the top of the pile and put it in my bag and took it home. I brought it to Apple, and because the girl hadn't put an iCloud lock on it they gave me a $500 discount to get a new phone as it was beyond repair. I sold it on eBay and used the money to buy a Samsung S5 which was new at the time. The girl started asking around a week after I took it what had happened and blamed the store manager for throwing it out, so no one ever knew. I spun my family a story about how I'd found it in the car park and no one had claimed it, so they weren't suspicious. I moved out from my previous rented unit and I haven't paid the final electricity bill, and now they're sending me emails. I live in Australia by the way, and I'm moving to my home country this Friday and I don't plan on coming back. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I can't pay $300 cause I actually don't have money and I'm struggling to pay. I thought maybe cause I'm leaving the country I wouldn't have to pay this bill. I'm afraid I could get arrested, but I'm a student and I really don't know what to do. I moved out of the last place because my parents struggled to send me money and I couldn't get a job due to this virus. I'm starting to have nightmares about it too, me going to court in handcuffs cause I didn't pay my final utility bill. From my home country's currency, $300 is about $40,000. It's a lot of money. I can't afford to pay this and I'm afraid to contact the company and let them know. Tricked a kid on the Spectrum to win a bowling tournament. About 6 years ago, I was competing in a bowling tournament. I was matched up against a kid, probably early 20s, who I'm pretty sure is on the spectrum. There is a certain format to match play in bowling, and he wasn't following it. Bowler A bowls the first frame, the bowler B goes frames 1 to 2, and they alternate in a 2-frame rotation from there. I started the match, he bowled his first frame, and instead of bowling his second frame, he came back and waited for me to bowl my second. I realized pretty quick that he didn't know what he was doing, and I let it slide. No biggie. About frame 7, I'm down 10 plus pins in the match. He throws his 7th frame and waits for me to bowl my 8th. I won't go up. In fact, I walked all the day to the back of the building, making it obvious that I wasn't going to bowl. This visibly disturbed him. He went up and bowled, splitting on back-to-back shots, enabling me to get the win. This was in the semis and I went on to win the event, but I felt horrible. Still do to this day. I posted a "class cancelled" sign on my history class door. Everyone saw it and left. I has made the decision to party instead of study for our midterm exam. In a last-ditch effort to rectify it, I arrived at class early and posted a note that read, "Class cancelled, meeting in progress." I watched as students came up to door and quickly left. I waited until right at class time and burst through the door like I didn't see it. My professor and I waited with one other student who apparently didn't see the sign. He had a puzzled look on his face and went to class door, where he saw the sign. He informed us the test would be rescheduled. Of course, I moaned and said, I have to study again. I did that to 2 more classes before I stopped for fear of them getting wise.